Game week 3 in FPL is nearly here, and in today's video I'll be going through my top players to target for Game week 3. Now before we get into the video, as always, if you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe. And this video isn't a team selection video, but if you do want to see my FPL team selections across the season, be sure to have a look at my Twitter, and I do post quite a bit of fantasy football content on there. My Twitter will be linked in the description. After the template team in FPL getting off to a pretty poor start, a lot of people are looking to wildcard or free hit in game week 3, but in today's video I'm going to go through some players you may not already have thought of to go into your wildcard or free hit teams for game week 3. In goal we've got Emi Martinez, 5 million and at 1.5% ownership at this moment in time. It did look like he was going to leave in his transfer window. He looked like he said his goodbyes at the end of last season, but no one really wants him it seems, so he's going to stay at Aston Villa at this moment in time. He didn't play in the first game of the season, but in the second game he was back. If we look at the clean sheet odds, these all being sourced from Elevenify, this data is really helpful for me when choosing my defensive players. And as you can see, Aston Villa are amongst the highest for clean sheet odds in the next few game weeks, starting from game week 3, only below Arsenal and Man City and above Liverpool. We'll briefly go through some other teams in this data. It does look quite healthy for Everton in terms of the probability of them keeping clean sheet, except for in game week 5, so maybe avoiding Everton defenders until game week 5 could be a good idea if you go for a wild card. Down the bottom it's Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds and West Ham. There's no surprise there. They are the worst teams in the division, but Burnley do come off the back of a clean sheet in game week 2 against Sunderland, and of course the assets are very cheap. Dubravka at 4 million, Esteve at 4 million. So if you are looking for some enablers, Burnley defenders are really the go-to. Now moving back on to Emi Martinez, he faces Sunderland, Everton and Burnley in his next 5, and overall those fixtures are looking really nice for Aston Villa in the next few games. You may think there are better goalkeepers at 5 million, Sanchez for example, but of course in this video we are looking for differentials really for the wild card, and Martinez definitely fits that bill at 1.5% ownership. You've got to keep up to date with the transfer news. Maybe he will be leaving, but it is looking pretty certain he will be staying, so I think the Martinez pick will become more popular as we get closer to that game week 3 deadline. My defender for this segment comes from Fabian Schär of Newcastle United, 5.5 million and 3% selected. The clean sheet odds are looking pretty good if we look at them from the Elevenify data. Once again, 34% in game week 3, 39% in game week 4 and 37% in game week 7, so pretty healthy odds there. Game week 5 and 6 both on 22%, not too good, but I think we can look past that because the other game weeks are looking pretty good. Newcastle face Leeds in game week 3, so one of the easier games of the season for Newcastle. He hit that DEFCON mark, getting those 10 defensive contributions to get those 2 bonus points, and unfortunately the video is being recorded before that game against Liverpool on the Monday, but I'm pretty sure he will hit that DEFCON mark once again. He is a bit pricey at 5.5 million, but when you think about other defenders like Tarkowski, also at 5.5 million, and he is fairly popular in terms of ownership. Schär not so much, and when Newcastle's probability of keeping a clean sheet in the next few game weeks are better than Everton's, and Schär is doing really well with the defensive contributions, he could be a better pick than Tarkowski. Moving on to my midfield pick in Elliot Anderson at 5.5 million and 6.5% selected. He's the only player who is in my team at this moment in time. He's been in my team since my first draft of the new FPL season, and he will be staying in it for quite a few more game weeks. If you picked Anderson, you were really looking for those DEFCON points, but unfortunately he hasn't picked up those points in the first 2 games of the season, but he has come very close in both of those games, so it is only a matter of time before he gets those DEFCON points. His minutes seem to be a risk at the start of the season with all these midfielders rumoured to join Nottingham Forest, but in his last game against Crystal Palace, other midfielders were taken off before Anderson. Sangeg is white, so that tells me Anderson's minutes are more secure than we first thought. Forest do look good in front of goal, of course. In pre-season they didn't score very many. They have scored quite a few in the first 2 games, so that gives Anderson a greater probability of getting those goal involvements. He already has one this season in the first game, assisting Chris Wood. He's on corners because of Elanga leaving to go to Newcastle. He came really close to an assist in the first game with a corner, but he only just missed out on the assist on that one. And I really do think he'll have a price rise soon. He's still at 5.5 million, but that may not be the case for much longer. It's still a really low price tag for him. He is real value for money. And if you are going for a wildcard in Game Week 3, in terms of a very cheap midfielder, Anderson is my go-to. Let me know what you think of my picks so far, goalkeeper, defender and midfielder. I will move on to the forward right now. Richarlison is my final pick in today's video, 6.6 million, so he's already been victim to a price rise and at 8.8% selected. If we look at the goal scoring odds for Spurs in the next few game weeks, it is looking pretty good for them. 1.77 in Game Week 3, 2.01 in Game Week 6, so overall looking pretty good. And of course that does promote the use of Tottenham forwards. In terms of other teams in the goal scoring odds, again from Elevenify, Man City are on top, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea following. Down the bottom we have Burnley, Sunderland, Leeds and Everton. West Ham are only slightly above Everton. Moving back onto Richarlison, he's had a really good season so far. 3 goal involvements in his first 2 games, but he is usually subbed off on the 70-minute mark. And we may see those minutes reduced further with Solanke nearly back to full fitness. Solanke has been getting a little cameo in each of his 3 games this season, including the game in the Super Cup final. He may well be on penalties. He's taken penalties before for Everton and Tottenham. And this is what Thomas Tuchel had to say about Richarlison if you are a bit worried about his minutes and his role within the squad. Right now he is my starting 9. He scored 2 top goals this season. He wants to stay, I want to keep him, and there's been no talks about anything else. So that does confirm to me that Thomas Frank definitely has Richarlison in his plans for Tottenham this season. And at a really low price tag of 6.6 million, he is an enabler for a forward. You don't see many good forwards at a 6.5 million mark. And I do think this could be a really good pick if he does get those minutes that Thomas Frank is saying he will get. I'm not sure if I will be using my wildcard booster in Game Week 3. As I said, I will have to think about it. But after a pretty poor start, I may well be using that booster. Okay, now those are my 4 plays to target. Yet again, let me know what you think of them. And that does conclude today's video. If you have enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe. Of course, my Twitter will be linked in the description where I do post my team selections and other fantasy football content. And if you are interested in being in my mini league for FPL, my code will be linked in the description. And yeah, that does conclude this video. Thank you for watching and good luck in Game Week 3.